second. Raise your hand. Aha, there is a question. Martha.
Hi, yes, thank you. I have checked into Noteflight before, and perhaps my question is, on the teacher edition, do students have to have their own email address in order to sign in?
And the answer is no, they do not. The email address is listed on the account information, but there is no asterisk beside it. It is not required.
I see. Okay, so, but on the free edition, you do have that. Your email is your login, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Let's see. Deborah has a question. Deborah, are you there?
I think her hand might have been raised from before.
Deborah. Wendy Bloom. Maybe Wendy.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I do have a Noteflight subscription that I just purchased. How do you create the individual student accounts like in a class?
That's a feature of Noteflight Learning Edition. So the Noteflight subscription for Crescendo is for individual use. It isn't designed for classrooms per se.
I think I do have the Learning Edition.
Okay, well, maybe you can, let's see, you think you have the Learning Edition. Who do you buy it from?
Noteflight.
Because we don't sell it directly. It's sold through SoundTree and through distributors.
Okay, all right.
Through our partners. So I'm wondering if you did buy that product.
I'm thinking then I didn't. It does say that I have 3 classes available to me.
Oh, that sounds like haiku. Okay, so you do.
Yeah, I do have haiku.
Yeah, this would be something to take up with haiku support, perhaps, or to look at their online help, because in each class you can set up a roster of students by putting in the student names.
Okay, got it.
And I find that the haiku help is very good. There are some videos for certain things, and there are other text documents that help considerably. But I think you'll find that it's fairly easy to do once you get set up. And you will like the templates that I'm going to show next.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? All right. So I am back to showing the screen, I believe. Can you see a Noteflight activities slide? Joe, is that there?
You might need to click on the share again.
Okay. We'll do the doc. It shows for me, so it's hard for me to know if it's working there.
Are you talking about the slide? Yeah, the slides are back up and running fine.
Okay, great. They come up automatically. So here we are. This is the activities template. I took this off the web. I will take you in and show you this in a second. The URL that you might want to visit after our session today is here. It's activities.noteflight.com. And a little bit of information before we begin. The MIDI project works with about 45 teachers in a variety of schools, many of them in Vermont, all over the state. It's a small state, but people seem to be very far away, and their school districts are very distinct, unique, from classes of maybe 8 students in a rural, very rural setting to schools of 1,500 in some of our other locations. Our teachers utilize Noteflight Learning Edition in all the different settings that you all might experience. That is, that we had a variety of classes. We had teachers who worked with whole classes at the elementary level, second grade, first and second grade. They would use a smartboard and Noteflight and work with the kids as a whole class. We had general music classes. We had at all levels, elementary level, middle level, high school level. We had students in band, in chorus, in jazz ensemble, and other small ensembles who would take part, whose teachers would create various class activities for them, and then the students would do this on their own time as a homework assignment. The teachers might introduce Noteflight Learning Edition within the class, but then these became homework assignments, something that's a little challenging to do in an ensemble unless you ask students to go home and practice, which you expect them to do anyway. This provided some other opportunities for reflection, for discussion, and for composition. We had students who sometimes worked as pairs, sometimes with, as I mentioned, with the teacher and one computer in the lower grades. And then we had students where they were able to use the computers individually, so netbooks, laptops, or desktops. The wonderful thing about this was that the tech people only had to make sure that Flash, the latest version of Flash, was installed, and that's very, very common, free, occasionally not upgraded, but easy to do. That was the only requirement that teachers needed, and they could turn their computers that they had in their school into some kind of music tech lab and utilize Noteflight. Let's see, our students are in mainly grades 2 through 12. We involve the college music ed students too. So what we have created here in the activity templates are 20 lessons or activities that various teachers in the project helped design for their own class. Each of these is tested with students. They've been coordinated, I guess, edited slightly so that they all look similarly and that you can easily access them. So I'm going to go back to share my activity templates so we can go in and see these a little bit more. Now I've got, let's go here. And this is activities.noteflight.com. If you scroll down, I think I'll make this a little bigger. If you scroll down, you can see these 20 different activities. We've created a matrix to give you a little more information about each one of these activity templates. There's a description, very brief, about the lesson itself, a suggested grade range, although I have done this variations on a familiar tune lesson with students up to 8th grade when it's one of their first experiences in music and technology. I think you'll find that some of them work either up a grade level or two or down a grade level or two, and the wonderful thing is that if you have Noteflight Learning Edition, like Wendy, you can copy this lesson, put it into your own Noteflight Learning Edition, and then edit it to your heart's content. You can take out those things that don't apply. You can change the wording. I was working with a teacher the other day who wanted to do this with a different grade level than what was suggested. We simply changed any reference to that grade level and changed some of the language so that it was more appropriate to her own students. We have the various settings that these would be appropriate for, although don't figure that this is the only way that you might do it. These are, in general, how they've been used with our teachers and the methods and tested methods that we've used. If you go in, I'll scroll down a little bit more. We have some that have been written by some of our composer mentors or designed by them, and some are for theory. You'll see this theory review, treble, and bass clef notes. The standards are listed. Anyone can preview these. You do not have to have an account. In order to copy it and use it with your students, you need an account. We expect that we'll be adding 10 more lessons in early January and perhaps another 10 by the spring. Our teachers are exceptionally excited about all the work we've done. Before I go to some more questions, I can't tell you how excited this has been for all of us. I've been coordinating this project for the last 15 years, and I've never had as enthusiastic a group of teachers as I have in the past year. This tool has changed education for them. It's changed music learning. It's helped them organize things all in one place. And many of them tweaked their lessons as they got more confident with what they were doing throughout the year. What we've shared for you in the templates are things that did go through that whole process, that trial and error. Teachers are now, some of them, beginning their second year with Noteflight Learning Edition. So these students already have their own accounts, and some of them created over the summer. Noteflight is available to them all the time. I have one student, her name is Gwendolyn, and she created about 31 pieces last year after first signing on. She used Noteflight as a little sort of a sketchbook as she'd start writing down her ideas and then filling them out. So she created 31 compositions. The number that her teacher assigned was only 4, but Gwendolyn created 31, and already in the last month, 5 weeks, she's got 5 new compositions going. She's a 6th grade.
Sandi, if I could just break in with a question. I'm curious, did she create any of these pieces at home, or was this all working at school?
Oh, no, absolutely at home, yes, and that's the wonderful point. Gwendolyn did her 4 activities, the 4 assignments for her teacher, but the others were all done at home, or apparently they had a study hall, study skills or something period once a week, and she would go in and do that kind of thing when she had access to the technology. I want to emphasize one other thing. At the elementary level, our students are not sitting at the computer every single class. This is maybe 20% tops of the entire year. It's different with middle school and high school, but we are not giving up at elementary level, and I'm adamant about this because that was my area of teaching, and I consider my area of expertise. Teachers are not sitting little kids in front of the computers all the time, but they are giving them this tool, and the number of students, Gwendolyn's only one, the number of students we've found who have created more and more work. And think of what happens. Gwendolyn's in the 6th, she's now in the 7th grade, but she was in the 6th grade last year. If she continues this throughout high school, imagine what she may create on her own with this tool later on. I'd like to stop for questions. I know we only have